We will be presenting Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, which is also known as CAPTA. It's presented by Viridiana Victoria, Ashley Alvarenga, Kelly Chinkatu, Stephanie Machuca, Yemi Chirinos, and we are in Child Development Class 423. What is Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act? It is an act that was created in January 31st, 1974. It is a prevention and treatment act that is to support the families to the children and protect them from any abuse, neglect, and maltreatment. What is the purpose of CAPTA? The purpose of CAPTA is to provide the services for those children who have been victims of any abuse or any exposure to domestic violence. What they also want to do with CAPTA is improve the adoption assistance and strengthen those assistance for those children who have been abandoned from their parents. They also want to support the families and protect them from abuse by providing services to the parents that are designated to the child needs to help the parents support them from maltreatment, abuse, and neglect. What is the current status of CAPTA? It was reauthorized in 2021 by two senators known as Patty Murray and Richard Burr. They now guarantee the rights to counsel children and the parents who have been involved with child abuse and neglect. Before, the fundings were around, for the communities, around 60.6 million. They have now increased those fundings to $270 million, which we see a huge increase from how it was before to where it's now. The services that are offered to these children were before provided by welfare system, which now has changed by being provided by the community providers.
So now we're moving on to facts on CAPTA and the social problem related to CAPTA. Child abuse and maltreatment is a social and public health problem. So when it comes to child maltreatment, it's the abuse and neglect that occurs to children under the age of 18. It includes all types of physical, emotional, sexual abuse, neglect, or negligence. In 2009, 900,000 children were victims. And in that year, 1,840 died. That makes it an average of 5 children that die daily. And by the chart, we can see that neglect is the most common form of abuse. And this is a more updated statistics. This is based on the 2020. And it gives us higher numbers compared to 2009. So I added all the deaths that happened within this year, and it's close to almost 2,000 children that died. So that makes it a higher increase from 2009. So now we ask ourselves, who is the most affected? Children who are younger, a year younger, are the most vulnerable. So 46.4% of children who died are under the age of 1. And 1 in 7 children have been abused and neglected in the past year. And boys tend to have higher rates than girls. We see to the right, I have a chart that it gives us numbers going based off the year. And we can see that children less than 1 have the highest numbers of being abused, and obviously the children dying due to the abuse. And we can see that as they age, the child abuse and neglect declines.
So now I will be talking about the government regulations for CAPTA. Agencies are formed in order for individuals to seek resources. Many government agencies provide services to help individuals who experience substance abuse, domestic abuse, child abuse, etc. The 2 government agencies that we will be talking about that support CAPTA are Administration for Children's and Families Initiatives and the Children's Bureau. So I will be talking about a little background from the 2 agencies. So the first agency, Administration for Children's and Family Initiatives, they support families children's and communities' economic and social well-being. The funds are given to children who have been abused, help troubled teenagers, and etc. So now for the Children's Bureau, the role supports child welfare, foster homes, and child abuse. Funds are given to different agencies to help children who have been abused and neglected.
Existing programs for CAPTA. CAPTA has a few programs that can help children who've experienced abuse, neglect, and maltreatment. So first are the community-based child abuse and neglect prevention grant. The goal is to help the states support child abuse and neglect prevention efforts and to give the funds to families to manage activities related to child maltreatment. Second is the Emergency Child Abuse Prevention Services Grant to serve children whose parents were substance abusers. And it's awarded to local public businesses and nonprofit organizations to provide the services for children. So a third is Family Resources and Support Center program. And it is to fund the state on a daily basis to build a statewide network of family support programs to collaborate with health, mental health, and other social services. Programs provide services for parent education, childhood development, outreach, community and social services, such as housing support, vocational training, and parental support from child abuse. And lastly, financing streams to support prevention programs. Families need support at different times and different intensities from families, friends, and neighbors. Families can have access to public resources and services such as public education and community recreation programs.
So some of the exiting outcomes of CAPTA are that it still exists, is that children are still at risk to malnutrition, malnutrition, and abuse. Some existing outcomes are that maltreatment can leave lifelong problems like depression, failing in school, and low self-esteem. So in conclusion, CAPTA, that we learned about CAPTA is that many of the children are eligible for the programs. We learned that CAPTA provides services to families and caregivers so that they can protect their children. We learned that CAPTA funds programs so that their purpose is to protect the children from being mistreated and also protect the families. Some things we would like to change, it would be to prevent the children from going through the abuse. In order for the children to avoid that, they would have to go through agencies so that they can be supported and they can support the families more. Some changes we would like to do also is spread more information about CAPTA so that more children can be protected and be well taken care of, and so that more people can know about CAPTA and it can increase the safety for the children. And this concludes our presentation.